All right. So, hello everyone. Welcome to another exciting day of masterclasses hosted by the IAPC&M. I'm your host, Eileen McCotter, APC, and I'm delighted to be here with you. We've dedicated today, 11th of December, to a series of masterclasses to support your coaching businesses with sales, marketing, and PR tips so you can become fully booked in the year to come, 2026. Our first speaker today is Eileen McCotter. Eileen's passion is to equip coaches with mindset strategies and holistic concepts to empower their clients to achieve profound transformations. To firstly understand and learn how your ego works, get out of your own way and learn exceptional coaching skills and techniques using intuition, theory, and an abundance of mindset tools. Eileen's ethos runs through everything she does, and that by teaching the ego to work with you, you can empower yourself to embrace, love, manifest financial abundance, and achieve unbelievable energy and health. Eileen is the founder of the Holistic Coaching School and has completed over 10,000 coaching hours. She also presents workshops and masterclasses and mentored over 100 coaches. Eileen holds certifications such as the Advanced Holistic Mindset Coach, Holistic Lifestyle Coach, and NLP. She's also accredited fellow level by the International Authority for Professional Coaching and Mentoring. So today's masterclass will be focused on the holistic way to grow your business. In this session, you will gain specific actionable knowledge on challenging the status quo, meaning understanding the critical error most professionals make when trying to grow, the head versus the heart dilemma, followed by the formula for scale, implementing the 4-step formula for predictable, sustainable business expansion, and last but not least, magnetic leadership, understanding what your ego needs to thrive and how to leverage your inner alignment to become a more magnetic and effective leader. So without further ado, over to you, Eileen. Thank you for being with us today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Eleanor, and to the IAPC&M. It is so great to be here. So today I wanted to share with you one of my, this was a 2-day event, masterclass workshop for coaches in my coaching community, where we come together quarterly to support one another. And this was a topic on how to grow your business holistically. And this ultimately came from, there's a lot of information out there on how to market your coaching business. Should it be social media? Should it be newsletter? Should it be webinar format? And I found, and many coaches that I work with found, there's a lot of noise and it can be very overwhelming. And then I look back to many of my coaches that are doing extremely well and looking at how my business did extremely well and looked at the holistic nature, the holistic foundation that runs underneath it that has enabled the growth to come. So is there a place for marketing? Yes. Is there a place for sales? Absolutely. But actually, this is more about the individual on where they are and how they can grow their business holistically. So I'm going to try and put this into an hour. This was a 2-day event. So here we go. So first question I have, we're going to look at is, what business do you have or do you wish to create? Then the second point is, what's the difference between an ego-led business versus a soul-led? We're going to look at the foundations for growing a holistic business, and I'm going to give you a model and a template for that, and your key takeaways and next steps. So as I said, this is a condensed version. If you want the full version, the full webinar, you can all have it complimentary. Then email us at eileen@coachingwitheileen.com or eileen@holisticcoachingschool.com. And I will send you this complimentary, the full version, but this is the shortened version. So the first point that I noticed with many coaches within my community, and outside of my community is often we don't look at, what business do you have already, or what do you wish to create? Often people become coaches because they are good at listening, they have great problem solving abilities, people always say that to them, or they've had a coach and they've realized, God, that was pretty life changing for me, so I therefore want to be a coach. But for me, you will want to look at, what are you doing now currently, and what would you like to be doing if there were no limits? So straight away, that's quite a profound question. And we're trying to straight away get your ego out of the way and get you into your imagination. So what are you doing now? Because already, even if you have a full-time career into something else, you have skills that are transferable if you want to have a coaching career, part-time or full-time. And what would you like to be doing if there were no limits? So really for me, this is trying to help a client get really grounded with, why do they want to be a coach? And often I feel many people go, oh, I just want to coach because I'll be good at it, rather than, what's your why? Why do you want to be a coach? Why do you believe in coaching? And what difference do you think you could make to the people that you wish to work with, if that makes sense? Oh, I think we have a question here. Let's have a look at this question.
Oh, this was just me typing.
Yeah, thank you. Good. So you're putting into the chat box my thing. Yeah. So just sit with that. What are you doing now? And what would you like to be doing if there were absolutely no limits? Yeah. So that's the first point that we do. The second point is we want to look at, what's the difference between an ego-led business versus a soul-led business. Now, again, this is coming to me more and more because many coaches are coming to me and they are experiencing extreme overwhelm with Instagram, LinkedIn, because often many coaches have a ginormous heart, they care, they want to make a difference, and they struggle when they feel they have to be this ginormous influencer on social media platforms. So this for me is where this question has come from. So an ego versus soul-led business is ego-led, is often driven by fear, is often driven by, I have to prove I'm good at what I do. I have to have 10 people on my live webinar. I started with 2 people in a live workshop. I know this was 15 years ago, but I started with 2. And I just kept going, and then it turned to 75. Yeah. So an ego-led business is when you're probably people pleasing, you're trying to control everything, and then you're comparing. And for me, then you're stepping out of the true essence of who you are. The energy behind that is pushing, striving, overthinking, and burnout. And I've seen many great coaches start heart-centered, then their egos jumped in, it's become too serious. Yep. And then they burn out, or they do a lot of comparison, and then therefore they do a lot of hiding. A soul-led coaching business is driven by purpose. This is at the forefront of your mind every day. Yeah. It's a very intuitive business where you're in alignment. It's about contribution and the difference you can make first. And it's about being creative. It's not about following what other coaches are doing. If, oh, I must do a webinar because this coach is doing that, or I must do an online platform. I started coaching. I worked with young offenders for years. I didn't realize how much I loved human behavior. I was one of 7 children in an Irish household, so I witnessed human behavior a lot. And then I became a personal trainer and I seen more human behavior. And I seen people were mega stressed out. So I took them off the treadmill, off the barbell, doing squats, and say, should we go for a walk around the park? And that's how I started coaching. Connection, connecting, making people feel seen, heard, and valued. So the energy behind it is trusting. Things will naturally unfold, which means you have to have patience. You have to think about the long game of being a coach. But we're surrounded by all this noise of quick fixes or got to have £10,000 a month. Who came up with that? And then we all start to follow that rather than start with, I'd like one client. I'd like two people to turn up live. Yeah. That's how shop owners start. That's how restaurants start. I want one person to come in and eat a meal and have a good meal. And hopefully they'll go home and recommend me to others. Yeah. So you've got to allow it to unfold naturally and then to have a clear and calm action plan. So we have to take action, but we want it to come from inspiration. So it's inspired action rather than fear, which is often then attached to worth. So has anyone got any questions on that, what I've shared so far? Any question, anything come up for you, Eleanor?
Yes, actually, something comes up really strongly for me now. Could you please explain whether soul-led also involves projections? So is it projecting of revenue, projecting of number of clients, or is it more intuitive?
That's a great question. Often it may be where a person is starting out from. So if my thing that I've seen is many coaches go out and get a coaching certification, they get training, and then they're not practicing enough. So their belief it is lower than sometimes their skills. So for me, first of all, they've got to practice, believe in what they do. Then they might start off intuitively, like I might just want one or two paying clients. My first hurdle was going from practicing to getting my first client to pay. That's a big hurdle for many coaches out there. So some coaches might go intuitive. Some coaches might have more projections and revenue. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I want to get this X amount of coaches. I wish to make this X amount of revenue. There's nothing wrong with that. The challenge I see is when people tip into being more in their ego, in their head, that becomes pressure, and no one creates anything exceptional out of pressure. Pressure often creates mistakes and errors. So if you look back in history over things that have been created, if you look at Apple, for example, they started with one thing. They did it extremely well. Then they went to the next thing. I see coaches bouncing from one thing to the other thing, to the other thing, to the other thing, chasing, trying to make money because they are in fear. Now, I know it's a challenge because to be out of fear, you have to have your basic needs met. Yeah. So you have to have your basic needs met. You need to know you've got money for food and a roof over your head first. Once you have those basic needs met, then you can tap into your intuition, practice, share. The energy behind it is trust. You're clear and you're calm. You can still have the projected numbers, but you do not attach your worth to those projected future revenue. And I see many coaches do that. Not just coaches, by the way. I coach many entrepreneurs. I coach many CEOs. And when they do that too, their game slows down because pressure increases.
Thank you for answering.
Yeah, thank you. Great question, Eleanor. And for me, generally, ego-led is when we're so stuck in our head, and soul-led is when we get more into our heart, more into the emotional reason why we wanted to be a coach in the first place. Yeah, most people don't become coaches because of wanting to create wealth. Most people become coaches because they wish to contribute. And the more they contribute, then on the end of that is wealth creation. So here's putting it into a few little questions. Ego-led business is often, how can I be seen as successful? I need to be seen as successful. Yeah. What's the quickest way to make money? How can I make money fast? And what do others expect from me? And I've noticed when coaches have all of this energy around them, then the more internal pressure they have, the more they get in their way, the more they're trying to prove, forcing people to work with them, or they hide and they put off sharing what they are genuinely really good at. More soul-led business, a more soul-led coaching business is what feels true to you. How can you serve in a way that honors your gifts and your well-being? And what will your future self be proud of? What will your future self be proud of? So my milestones, my basic needs were being met. Had some savings when I started coaching. I didn't coach full time. I was doing part time. And then I said, okay, if I could just get, 3 to 5 clients a week, that would be amazing. And then I would dedicate time for that in my diary. And those 3 to 5 hours a week, I would do work on that in order to try and help that to manifest. Yeah. Then I also had revenue. If I could just walk into a restaurant and buy a meal for myself and my daughter without looking at how much the money costs. So that was my first desire. And I think now many coaches are disconnected from that. And I also speak of businesses as well. Many businesses have disconnected from their why, from their emotional drive, and how can they serve in a way that honors their gifts. So that's the first point that I do with people that I coach and I mentor. And then here's a question on that. How does or how might, because you might not have a coaching business yet, you might be looking to start yours. So it might be, how might your ego, your mind show up in your business? And how would you like your heart and your soul instead to show up in your business? Now, at the moment, there is a lot of projected fear going on around the world. Yeah. Social media with algorithms unfortunately shows us more of the same. So many coaches have a thought, if you're interested in coaching, your algorithms are only going to show you coaching. When I go down to my local pub and I say I'm a coach, they don't know what a coach is because their algorithms does not show them coaching out in the country here. Yeah. So for me, we can get overwhelmed by that. We don't want to show up. Oh, there's too many coaches out there. No. There are many, for me, low-skilled coaches out there who are not certified and are not accredited. Yeah, and do not have a high level of professionalism. There are wonderful coaches out there who commit their heart and soul to their skills continually. They've practiced for hours and hours, and they are certified with a reputable, accredited company. And that's when you want to help those to show up more in their heart and drive their business from that. If not, pressure and fear and overwhelm takes over. and you've got to think about the long haul, the long game, and be adaptable. So I know that's a lot, but that's a lot about my passion. So now I want to move into, hopefully now you've thought about what would you like to do if there were zero limits? Yeah. Then you're looking at how would you like to share your coaching business? You know, ego head led or heart and soul led. Then we can look at what are the foundations? What are the foundations for growing your holistic business? And here we go. So there's one simple concept I like to share with my holistic mindset coaches. And you too are also invited to live by this if you wish, when it comes to growing whatever business you are interested in developing and progressing, is to be the lighthouse. Can you take on the energy and embed this in your mind and in every cell of your body to be the lighthouse? And we can look at, what does that mean? What does being a lighthouse mean? So I want to ask that to you. If you could take on the energy of being a lighthouse, what would that mean to you? What would that mean to a part of you? So I know I keep picking on you today, Eleanor, but I know that some people on here have been a little bit shy. So Eleanor, what would that mean?
I feel actually really privileged to be able to respond to this. So thank you so much for putting that on my table. For me, being the lighthouse in how I show up, not only in the business that I support, but also my everyday life, is acting consciously.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Acting consciously. What a great share. Absolutely, acting consciously. And that's a challenge because we have so many subconscious behaviors that pulls us back. Absolutely. So you're right, being conscious like the lighthouse is. The lighthouse stands tall. First of all, the lighthouse is grounded. It stands tall and then it beams out its light and the boats come to the lighthouse. The lighthouse doesn't run around like a lunatic shining its light to find the boats. The boats resonate energetically and come towards. And for me, over 15 years working with many coaches and many businesses, those businesses that do exceptionally well, and I don't mean exceptionally well financially, I mean exceptionally well that they have work-life balance, that they are able to contribute to charities and other things, as well as to have the lifestyle that they enjoy, is that they stand tall and grounded with what they believe in, and they resonate that energy out. And then business, joint ventures, work comes to them. So I want to break this down to you into 4 steps, which I help my coaches to try and stay close to. Now, you might have your own little metaphor. It might not be the lighthouse. But for me, that works really well for me, and many of my coaches love it too. That how can you first be grounded, stand tall, and then shine out and share what you believe in and what you trust makes a difference to the lives of others, regardless of the noise that we get 24/7. So here goes. I'm going to break this down. First of all, we ask, what does it mean to you? And Eleanor answers so elegantly and so, for me, spot on. She's like, how can I show up consciously, more conscious with my business actions, but also my life as well, because they are intertwined. They're intertwined. So being the lighthouse for me, and the model that I use with the coaches that I train and then continue to mentor within their business, is to, first of all, in order for the lighthouse to stay grounded is to reparent yourself. So you have to learn how to reparent any inner stability. We want you to be stable and grounded. Yeah, the foundations have to be rooted first. And I see in many coaches, that is the wobbly bit that makes everything else a little bit wobbly. The next thing for you to remain in the energy of you are the student, not the teacher. And we're going to go deeper into this. The third component is for you to represent yourself. That's what marketing is. People know where you are, people know what you're about, and people know what you do. So you represent yourself, you are visible. And then the fourth component is to refine your brilliance, like the lighthouse. So you amplification, you amplify because you are refining your brilliance all the time. So that's the 4 steps. We're going to go into those steps and break them down. And I'm just going to do a little check of time. We're all good. So guys, I do appreciate this is a lot of information that you guys are taking on. Luckily, this is recorded, so you can slow it down and go over it. I know I speak at times quite fast because I am driven by passion. So I'll try and slow this down a little bit, but you can also go back to it too. So why do we need to reparent ourselves? Yeah. So for me, sustainable growth comes when you focus, you shift your focus from proving to enjoying. We've got to quit proving we're a good coach and instead enjoying the process of being a coach. And when a coach consistently reparents their own behaviors, yeah, the parts that feel impatient, the parts that have doubt, the parts that don't feel worthy to receive, revenue. And we do that, we reparent those parts, the business becomes rooted, yeah? And contribution replaces desperation. Now, if we relate this to dating, if you go on a date and somebody is really needy, like, I need to see you again, when are we going to see you? And they send you 25 texts, you're a bit like, whoa, that's a bit intense. We don't want to have that energy as a coach either. You want to be there, I can contribute, I can share this, I believe this would help you in this way, in this way. What do you think? So we're replacing, we don't want to be desperate. We don't need the client. We're inviting a client to work with us. And then trust replaces chasing. So we're not chasing clients, yeah? So here are some questions on this. Number 1, is there a part of you that might still be seeking safety or permission to fully show up in your business? Is there a part of you that is seeking safety or permission to fully show up in your business? Now, I want to give me as an example. When I started off coaching and clients started to come to me because I practiced for hours and hours and hours, and I believed in what I did, and clients started to come to me, a thought in my head was, don't be too big for your boots. Don't be a show off. Who do you think you are? So I started to sabotage my coaching business. And that's because I needed to reparent myself with safety and permission. So my mother, a beautiful woman, is like, how can I say? She is like, my experience, Florence Nightingale. So she wants to help everyone, help everyone. So I like to help people. So my challenge in my business, when I started to receive money, I felt bad. A part of me felt bad. Now that was my baggage. You too are going to have baggage. It's going to be different baggage that will be stunting the growth of your coaching business. So I had to reparent myself. I had to create another new belief with the mother ego in my brain so that my child self felt safe to ask for money or to ask when to put my prices up. But business coaches come along and they say, put your prices up. And sometimes that can create overwhelm and pressure. Yeah. So I want to work with people and show them how to reparent that so that they feel safe and they have permission to show up in their business however they want to. Another question, which inner voice is holding back your momentum and what does it need from you? Because it doesn't matter about your marketing, your sales process, unless you sort out the foundation. And for me, I had to sort out that loyalty that I should help for free or I should overgive. So what does that inner voice need from you? And how can you give that to yourself? A third question, what would it look like this month or this week for you to affirm your worth? How can you affirm your worth, inspire your vision, and bring more play into how you grow your business? Yeah. So how can you affirm your worth, inspire your vision, and bring more play? And again, this will make you feel grounded. This is the foundation of the lighthouse. And then you can go to the next step, the next step, the next step. So maybe right now, this is the element that you possibly need to work on in your business. So do we have any questions from that? Good. No, so we're all good with that.
Eileen, if you don't mind, I've actually heard a lot about Bart's work. I myself am a first level certified with him. I am certified, and I wanted to ask you about the first point here. How shall coaches or business owners approach this? Do they have to work with somebody else, or can they be asking themselves questions?
Great question. Yes to both. So the challenge, my experience from working with our own ego, we often have blind spots. Yeah. And as many of you know, the ego's role in our life is safety and survival. Yeah. So in all of us have loyal patterns and behaviors on how we think we should create wealth, for example, and we're loyal to that. So sometimes a client might not notice that part of them is being loyal to a past behavior or belief from their family or from their culture. Then they would probably need a coach. And that's why, to be honest, CEOs then approach me, because they've got a certain level of growth and then they're stagnating. And often then they need help because they have a blind spot. There's something they cannot see that they are doing or thinking. Yeah. So ideally, yes, if people are unable to do that, then yes, they can sit with themselves, either meditate, go for a walk and ask themselves a question and see intuitively if the answer comes in. But we have to switch off the noise. You can't think your way here. You have to feel your way. So you can go for a walk and say, hey, what is the part of me that is holding me back? And what does that part of me need? And then you can do some self-inquiry and self-discovery. And then you have to imagine that part of you is a younger age. And how would you support that part? How would you reparent that part? Now, I love IFS and I like a lot of these different models, but my brain likes simplicity. The people I coach are extremely busy, like simplicity. So I like to bring it down to 3 components of the reparenting. What part of you needs to be affirmed so you can feel safe? What part of you needs to feel inspired to take the next step, the next actionable step? But you're being inspired not for the outcome, but for the experience. And then the third part, then the child self can show up and and be vibrant and be fun and help you to use your imagination and creativity. So great question, Eleanor. I think it depends on where you are, depends on who you are and what you want. Ideally, a coach is great because you can't see sometimes some of your own stuff. But self-inquiry also, for me, is very good too. So I hope that's been helpful.
Thank you.
So a little quote for you here. When you inspire the unmotivated parts of yourself and you inspire them, yeah, affirm the ones that have lost faith. We all, when we have a business, can lose sight of the future when circumstances come across our path. Then how can we offer gentleness to the child within who's forgetting how to play? Yeah, so we need those three components together. We need to feel inspired and motivated, not driven by an outcome. We need to be affirmed about ourselves and what our skills are. And then the child self, encourage that part to play. Why don't you try a webinar? Why don't you try a newsletter rather than it has to work, for example? Then everything starts to fall in place. We create that momentum. So the second part of the lighthouse is remain the student. Now, again, I see many people when they've got their certificate and they're like, yay. Then they go into, oh my God, I have to get the client an outcome. Yeah. And here's the thing, guys. Our job is not to get the client an outcome. You can take a horse to water. You cannot make a horse drink. A dentist can, I've just had a new crown put in my tooth. Yeah. So yes, they've given me the crown, but they cannot help me to floss and clean my teeth and reduce sugar. That is my responsibility. So we have to remain in the energy of the student, and our clients then will teach us what they need in their life in order to create change. And we can stay curious and we can study to support them. But we're not this, I'm the teacher, I know everything, I have to be like this. Does that make sense? So a coach who practices regularly, and again, I see this, many coaches get their certificate, but their practice, their belief is not high enough. So they've got to practice. Receive feedback. Ask your clients, what did you like? What did you dislike? What would help you more? Then a client will give you that feedback so you know what clients truly want. That will help growth and build depth. Growth isn't linear also. However, consistent inner work paired with the belief in the power of coaching creates a business that will naturally expand. So again, I'm seeing where people do some inner work, then they get their certificate, then they get some automatic growth, then it stagnates. They need to go back to practice, doing the inner work, and then it will expand. So here's some question on remaining in the energy of the student. I still, to this day, by the way, I've been coaching 15 years, and I still say there's so much more for me to learn. And every time I'm with a client, I took on a new client last week, and they are a CEO of a very great business, very successful business. And I sat there going, okay, what is this client going to teach me? They're going to teach me, and I'm going to stay in the student energy. If not, I turn up and go, oh my God, this person is higher than me, better than me, and I need to be this and this and this. And that creates pressure. Yeah. A dentist looks inside someone's mouth and they go, let me look at what's going on. Let me put the missing pieces of the puzzle together. And that's what I do when I stay in the student energy. So what part of you feels pressure to get it right, instead of staying open to growth through the practice? So if I jumped on that call with that successful CEO and I said, I have to get him a result, I have to get him an outcome. Instead, I said, what do you feel you need and what do you feel is missing? And can you share with me what is going on? So then we work together, student and teacher intertwined together. Second question, how are you currently creating space to practice your coaching and learn from real experiences? Yeah. So it may be right now that you just, give 5 hours a week. This is how I started. I gave 5 hours a week complimentary to people. And I did that for a whole year, by the way, a whole year. But I got feedback and I got testimonials and I got experience and my belief got up and my belief got up. Does that make sense? Third question, what is your biggest lesson right now as a student? Yeah. What are you learning that can bring depth, wisdom, and inspiration to your potential clients? So my biggest lesson that I share with everyone is you are going to get in your own way. Your ego's job is to keep you in the box of loyalty of what you know, past, not future. That's your ego's job. So you'll get to a certain level and then you will feel overwhelmed, stuck, you will stagnate, etc. So that's when we want to go, okay, what's the biggest lesson? What are you learning about business? What are you learning about yourself that can bring depth, wisdom, and inspiration potential clients? So I can share with you something else that I'm learning. AI is on the increase. Many people are using AI and people have different experiences of AI. My experience, there's a light side to AI and there's a downside to AI. And the great thing about the downside to AI, for me, the more we bring human beings away from being a human being, and this margin gets bigger, more separated, there's more need for human connection. So I'm guessing in future, people are going to want in-person coaching. That's what I'm guessing as a student of life. Because now more people are coming back to me. Eileen, I want to attend your live workshop. Eileen, I want to see people in person. Yeah, I want to interact in person. I'm spending too much time on my own behind a computer. So that's now helping me to support my coaches. Why don't you meet a client in person? Why don't you go for a walk? Why don't you do face-to-face? Does that make sense? So there's 3 questions about remaining the student. So I hope that's been useful. A business rooted in self-awareness, led with heart, and built with integrity doesn't burn out. It does not burn out. It grows in alignment with soul and heart behind it. And that's when I have this oath. I'm in this for the long haul. Yeah, I'm in this for the long haul. And it's going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be like this. And I accept and embrace that as part of it. So the third pillar to be in the lighthouse is represent yourself. Do you know how to represent yourself? So clients generally, and especially I think this is on the increase because of the increase of AI, clients are resonating with authenticity. When a coach clearly represents their values and their deeper message behind their work, visibility becomes the service. It's not about self-promotion. It's not about being an influencer, proving, yeah? Coaches who show up consistently often become referable without needing to prove. Now, again, when we look at marketing, is there a need for marketing? Yes. But one of the biggest marketing tools is referrals. Yesterday, I went to see an holistic chiropractor. She's phenomenal because she's holistic, and you cannot get into her for weeks because she does an exceptional job, and her business is 90% on referrals. Yeah. So coaches who show up consistently often will get referrals. When you do an exceptional job, give your heart and soul and time to that client, you're not trying to prove, you will get referrals if you practice your craft too. So here's a question. What part of you holds you back from being seen? What is it afraid might happen if you fully show up? So is there a part of you that's holding you back from being seen? And what are you afraid of if you fully show up? So I was afraid of my coaching is quite out of the box, because many people talk about marketing, revenue, get more clients, get more clients, get more clients. My coaching is do more inner work, reparent yourself, practice your skills, and you will get more clients. Now, that's not as influential as the side over here. Yeah. So I didn't want to show up that way. So my question to you, is there a part of you that doesn't want to be seen, or you're afraid what might happen if you really share what you believe in? Number two, what do you believe in so deeply that you're ready to speak more clearly or boldly about? And why does it matter to the people you serve? So I believe in human connection, and I believe people need more human connection, face to face, person to person, than ever before. I believe that. I've always believed that. I believe that children connect with other children. And the more that we're together, we stop competing and comparing, and we believe there's enough for all of us to get our needs met, then we can show up and serve. Number three, what small, courageous action could you take this month to represent yourself? This isn't to impress, but for you to express. So again, how can you show up on social media, LinkedIn, in a newsletter, going to a network event, and you just share what you believe in, you share what you're about. You're not there for an outcome. You're not there for 1,000 views on your, reel. Yeah. You're putting energy out, sharing, 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 sharing. So when you believe, when you practice, when you ask for what you want, doesn't mean you're going to get it, but you're willing to ask for it. When you share, when you play, you will receive. To me, that's what I believe in, and I believe that to be a truth. And many of my clients are also showing me that to be true as well. So the fourth one, refine your brilliance. This is shine out your light. Coaches and focus on what they do well, and they commit to getting even better at it. They invest in themselves long term. They create energy that clients are drawn to. They are refining their natural strengths and trusting that the universe, or whatever you believe in, will respond. Yeah, with clarity, confidence, and contribution. This then, they amplify their impact and clients find them. So this is when you continue to commit to your craft and whatever you might need to learn more of, yeah, whatever that may be. Like I'm now helping a lot of coaches how to be more financially savvy, how to be more financially business driven within the business, and not to create more wealth, that they can play more, have more time, for example. So how can you refine your brilliance so you shine out and clients then will come towards you? So what part of you downplays your strengths? Is there a part of you that is downplaying your strengths or doubts that your natural brilliance is enough? And that's why you're hiding, or you're jumping from one marketing strategy to the other, to the other, to the other. How would you refine or express your unique brilliance more clearly in your content? How can you refine or express your unique brilliance more clearly in your content? Yeah. On this, AI is a wonderful tool, but AI cannot replace you as the author. You need to be the author, so then AI will respond to what you believe in. If not, for me, you're just going to send out shoddy, similar content that people disconnect from. So what is your unique brilliance? And sometimes you might need a coach to pull that out of you, because you might struggle to see that. Yeah. And then your unique brilliance more clearly in your content, your conversations, and your offers. Number 3, what strengths come so naturally to you that you've been overlooking them as powerful assets? So what are your natural strengths that you've been overlooking that then can be your powerful assets? And for some people, it's not social media, it's in person. Can you share in person? Can you be creative with the products or the offers that you have that match where you are, rather than what another coach is doing? So for me, the universe, whatever you believe in, something bigger than yourself, will always say yes. It will either say, yes, here it is, whatever you're asking for. It will say yes when you're ready. And what I mean is the universe will give it when it's ready, not when you're ready, when it's ready. It's testing you to be the student. Or it might go, yes, there's something else for you. So for example, one of my clients was trying to do an online program because she believed that an online program is where it's at. And the more she tried to do that, the more it wasn't working. So the universe was saying no, but it actually was saying, yes, there's something else for you. And when she went to in-person, doing in-person work with women, they flocked towards her. They flocked towards her. So the universe is always willing to say yes. So the 4 steps again. Number 1, are you reparenting yourself? Are you working on your hidden doubt, your hidden fear, or loyal behaviors and patterns that you've probably not done enough work on that need some attention? Are you remaining the student? Yeah. And do you know what the lessons are that you have to share with other people that you believe will create change? Yep. And are you getting out of your way that you have to do it right? You have to practice and get the lessons on the way. That's how all business owners do it. They actually make mistakes to go forward. The 3rd one, are you representing yourself? Are you being visible? And that doesn't mean just visible on social media. Are you representing yourself? Are you sharing what you believe in? Everywhere you go. And then the 4th one, are you refining your brilliance? And are you shining that out? Yeah, and refine your brilliance. And when you stand in the lighthouse, I believe that whatever business you're in, then it will grow, because you will take inspired action. You will be less attached to the outcomes, and you will more enjoy the experience. And you will be the student and learn skills on the way that will support your longevity in the coaching field. So my final question was, what was your key takeaway? And what is the one thing you would like to focus on for you to be the lighthouse? Which one of those 4 is good for you at this time to work on? So that's my question to you all.
I can share if I may.
Yeah, thank you, Eleanor.
Yes, so for me, the third pillar, representing myself more, is something that I need to be more persistent at. I say persistent because very often I shy away from just shining my own authenticity.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is really important. It's really important, and I feel best when I am my true authentic self.
Wow, I love that. Love that, Eleanor. So here's the question. How could a part of you show up and be more visible in a more playful way?
This is very deep. I'll take this away for me to contemplate and feel with my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a question of how can we show up in a more playful way. Is not that of I'm going to be visible and I'm going to be, we fear being humiliated for being our authentic self, or we feel we have to prove and have this mask and be a certain way. Rather, if you spoke to a little kid, you'd be like, hey, little kid, how do you want to go out to play? Because a lot of marketing might be you have to do 5 of these and 10 of these and 12 of these. And often that can be very overwhelming. Rather than if we seen it as a game and we can just show up however we show up, then often that part will take the step forward and be visible because it doesn't fear judgment or doesn't fear an outcome.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And then here's a thing. If you are in the energy of the lighthouse, what if you don't have to chase people when you're anchored to your truth and in your truth? When you be the lighthouse, you stand still, you shine bright, that clients will find you. They will just come towards you. It might be 1 or 2 at first. Yeah. And we're looking at 1 or 2, then 5 to 8, then 8 to 10, rather than, I want to go from here to there straight away. For me, that's often not where most coaches are at. It's not often where most businesses also are at. So thank you everyone for your time. I hope this has been beneficial to you. And if you wish to reach out, Eileen at 𝗧𝗵𝗂𝗀𝗂𝗀𝗵.com, I can share with you the webinar of this where I go a lot slower and you can listen to it in more depth.
Thank you so much for the generous offer. Everyone, please feel free to reach out to Eileen directly. Her email is in the chat box here. And to you, Eileen, thank you so much for sharing your masterclass with us today. This was truly insightful. And one thing I truly appreciated today is you reminding us why we are in the business of coaching.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for inviting me to be here.
Our pleasure. We look forward to hosting you again. So
yeah, I think May 2026, be here with some more stuff.
Fantastic. We're here.
All the best. Right. Thank you all.
All the best. Bye-bye.